pounds in the black corner. From St. Louis,
Here comes Mr. Pro.
Andre the Giant.
Gonna get his licks in on the bruiser. Hulk Hogan.
Number one, the greatest WWE champion of all time, and in many ways, the man who made the title what it is today, Bruno Sammartino.
His opponent weighing 236 pounds in the white corner. From Van Nuys, California.
Welcome into another edition of Retro Wrestling Rewind. As always, I'm David Fine, alongside my tag team partner, the true Long Island IZ, Alex G. Man, SummerSlam 1993. It was an epic show. It was the rise and fall of the Lex Express. And we're going from a main event of Lex Luger, Yokozuna for the title, to ECW's November to Remember 1995. It was in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the ECW Arena, a sellout crowd of 1,150 in attendance. That is, I mean, that's going from the top of the mountain to, well, the bottom of the mountain. Your thoughts?
This show, and this is one of the reasons why we chose it, is critically acclaimed. The wrestling media, I guess you would call it, at the time, and very much to this day, will point to this show as the quintessential ECW show. I don't think this show necessarily is the best representation of ECW necessarily, although it has really good elements in it. Hell, I don't think this is not a better show than Hostile City Showdown. It's not a better show than Gangsta's Paradise. But I think a lot of people give this high marks because you have Steve Austin on this show. And then you have Rey Mysterio on this show. And you have Conan on this show. So it's very significant in that way. And then you have the return of Sabu, which is also very important, which we'll get into a little bit later. But much like the Attitude Era, much like ECW, it doesn't hold up well. It feels very 1995-ish.
The good thing is, it was 1995. So
I know, but when you look at it in 2019, you're like, oh, it doesn't hold up as well. Now, the version I have, which is the one I sent you, it was the commercial release, which didn't have the original music. It was weird on ECW commercial releases because the show before this and the show after that did have commercial licensed music on it, but this one in particular did not, which is weird. You can still hear it in the background. You can still hear Metallica for Rey Mysterio, which is weird that they gave him that song, but whatever. It is what it is. But I think when you're looking at ECW, it's only good in montages. So if you're doing a hype video on YouTube for ECW, you can make it look really cool. Their TV show, Hardcore TV, maybe top 3 wrestling television shows of all time. And it's the way they edited it. Now, this particular show is the full show. So full show, full matches. Very minimal editing on this show. So you get to see we get to see essentially what they saw in the crowd that night.
yeah, I mean, I've never been a big fan of ECW. I know you grew up in that
I love
the
ECW.
area.
ECW was
because
my shit.
ECW, we didn't get it on television down here.
I've been to ECW show.
Yeah. And what do you think? What did you think of them live?
I've never been so frightened in my entire
Why? Because
life.
of where you were in Philadelphia, or just because of the?
I was in
you're-
Queens. I wasn't
okay,
in
you're in
Philadelphia.
New York.
I
Okay.
was in Queens. I was in New York. The atmosphere was chaotic and almost riotous, especially when you have the Dudleys literally almost causing a riot. But it was fucking scary, bro. Like it was like I'd never been scared like that at a wrestling show. Prior to that or since, I thought there was gonna be a riot. I thought the place was gonna burn down. The fans were completely out of their fucking minds. That's something I wouldn't do again. I would never go to a second ECW show. It felt very out of control.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only other time you felt really uncomfortable was at that penis party show, the Joey Ryan show at WrestleCon. Just weird, but
You went to the penis party show. I went to pancakes and pile drivers.
oh, with the great Sammy Callahan.
Sam Callahan.
That man's freaking wrestling Tessa Blanchard. I mean, come on. Please don't mess up that pretty face, but that's beside the point. But
I don't like Sam Callahan. I always thought he was overrated. I thought he was overrated in the Indies before he went to WWE. I thought he was overrated in NXT, and I still think he's over fucking rated.
so you're not a fan.
No, I don't think he's any good.
Hey, we all have our own opinion. I'm not a fan of him, but I wouldn't go that. But I mean, having Bubba Ray Dudley, I mean, doing the ring announcing and having that stutter and just
It was the gimmick. I mean, Bubba Ray was doing this gimmick where he had the stutter, and they would have him ring announce, and he would kind of get through it a little bit, and then it starts to stutter, and then it goes to shit here. So Bubba Ray Dudley is the special guest ring announcer for the Donnie Allen Broad Street Bully match. Which, if you guys know anything about Donnie Allen, who used to have $4.99 on his trunks because he was rated $4.99 in the PWI 500.
he wasn't 500, he was 499. So
$4.99, yeah.
I mean, what were your thoughts on Bubba Ray, back then?
We thought, until the Dudleys had that heel turn, we thought Bubba was like a cheesy gimmick. Now he is fucking huge here. Like, I'm not talking about Warlord huge. I'm talking about like King Kong Bundy huge at this point in his career. We didn't know what to think of him. He didn't get good until like Devon came in. But he was over with the crowd because he had the stuttering gimmick, and then he would get mad and he would power bomb people like he did in this particular match. The funny thing they did once is like he was stuttering, and then they hit him. And I don't know what show it is. I think this might be the show after this. It might be, I don't know, this December to Dismember or whatever. And he does the ring inductions in Spanish, which is hilarious. But it's a fun gimmick. This is a Raven gimmick. He came up with this gimmick for all these guys, and it was fun. And then it got over once they took it more seriously. They eliminated all the other Dudleys except for Spike, and it was just Devon and Bubba Ray with Joe Gertner. So that was probably the best incarnation of the Dudley Boys.
Yeah, I mean, and they were, go down as a great tag team. And it's like, I mean,
And one of the most decorated tag teams in the history of professional wrestling. Former, WCW, although WCW, WWE tag team champions, WWE tag team champions, ECW tag team champions, IWGP tag team champions, TNA tag team champions. They won them all.
Who would have thought back in 1995 that this would have been their future? I mean,
No one thought that.
yeah, no one thought that. But I mean,
like we're all pretty sure that Bubba Ray was going to go to WWF as some sort of like Eugene type gimmick, or they're going to put him as a hillbilly or something. And it's funny, like Bubba Ray's from New York, and they try to make him a hillbilly kind of sort of character, and it was weird.
and he's married. Is he married to Velvet Sky?
I mean, might as well be. I don't know if they're actually married, but they're together, living together, and that kind of stuff. And good for Bubba. She's way out of his league for sure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I mean, so was my wife, and I'm assuming so was your
Well,
wife. So.
I mean, but what can I say? I mean, we're not the best looking people in the world. That's why.
Well, yeah,
why
but I got it where it counts in my pants.
I got it where it counts in my wallet. Just saying. You got it in the pants, I got it in the wallet, but that's beside the point. I mean, when I saw this, I was like, God, man, Bubba, he's definitely looks a lot different now. I mean, he's definitely.
What do you think? He was like maybe 315, 320 at this point? Like, he's fucking.
He's definitely slimmed down a lot. So he's.
Yeah. Much better worker nowadays. I'm not convinced of his booking ability. Yeah, he's a good, good radio host.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely does a good job on there, and he gives us great opinions. And I think
I'm not going to talk about Bubba Ray because he might take me backstage and yell at me. So
maybe, but I think he's a fan. I think I caught this right. He's a big fan of MJF. So I mean,
well, who isn't? Everyone should be.
Yeah, I mean, well, we know Cornette is, but yeah, that's.
anyone that knows anything about professional wrestling is going to be a fan of MJF.
Yes, he's definitely he's. I think eventually down the road, sometime soon, in about a year or so, he may be the AEW champion. I mean,
yeah. I mean, if I was AEW, I would do everything in my power to make sure we hold on to him and not lose him to the WWE.
I mean, do you think if he went there, do you think they would?
No, I don't think, because they haven't done well by anybody. You want to look at EC3, Bobby Roode, nobody.
You mean
so MJF is.
You mean Robert Roode? Oh my God, it's like Jesus
Robert,
Christ.
whatever.
But no, I mean, how about Matt Riddle? I mean,
Matt Riddle probably should be the world champion in like a year and a half.
He also wants to kill Brock Lesnar, so I mean, he wants to fight a.
I mean, that's a matchup. I mean, they're both mixed martial artists, and that's an air of legitimacy there. And Matt Riddle did fight in the UFC, so and he gets professional wrestling. So, Brock Lesnar, Matt Riddle match, that's a money match that you want to, you want to keep that in your pocket. You want to make sure that happens. That needs to happen. That needs to be a main event of WrestleMania.
Do you think it would ever happen?
With no, it's not going to happen because it's WWF. Why would they do that?
I mean,
why would they have possibly
a good match?
It makes more just anything that makes sense. Like having them, that's a natural rivalry, and they try to go against the grain way too much. Yeah. They got to prove that they're smarter than everyone.
Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. But I mean,
they haven't been smarter than everyone since 1987. So
yeah, I mean, we had Bubba Ray Dudley. The Broad Street Bully. I mean, what can I say? 57 seconds. Man.
And the Broad Street Bully being the Hitman Tony Stetson. So.
Not the Hitman Tony Stetson. I mean, I have his wrestling card here, so it's. Just, I do.
Do you?
I have his wrestling figure as well. I'm a big Tony Stetson mark. So I just want to put that out there. But the next match, Conan taking on Jason Knight,
the sexiest man alive,
and Taz as a special guest referee. So
this is Taz's return as a special guest referee. He had issues with Jason. They've been feuding for a really long time. Taz is coming back from his broken neck. That's very important, and Taz's appearances throughout the show is very important. It's very key for what they're going to do with him in the future. Looking jacked, by the way. And you have Conan. This is Conan's last match here in ECW. Or maybe his only match in ECW. I'm not 100% sure. But he gets a quick win over Jason using the Splash Mountain, another powerbomb. So 2 matches, 2 powerbomb type finishes, which is interesting. But nice to see Conan pre-WCW here. He had the mask on for a while, then took it off for whatever reason. And, there we go. Conan's here. Yay. You know what chant, I feel like they was piped in, but it's weird that they would pipe in this particular chant. And what they were chanting at Conan and Jason was, "You both suck dick." And you would hear that chant all night long.
You think they piped it in?
I don't know, but it's just weird that that chant keeps on going. Like they chanted that at Too Cold Scorpio and the Sandman too. Very bizarre.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, yeah, we'll talk about the Sandman coming up in this match with
This match went 14 seconds, and you will see Jason later on in the night.
Yeah. Next match, Stevie Richards with our buddy the Blue Meanie taking on El Puerto
Ricano.
Puerto Ricano. That just seems like a very anyway.
In Spanish, that means the Puerto Rican.
Huh.
And he's not Puerto Rican. He's Ecuadorian as Pablo Marquez. So I think most people would know him as Pablo Marquez.
What were your thoughts on Stevie Richards?
Stevie Richards, criminally underrated. If he didn't break his neck, he would have been as good as Shawn Michaels. I know that's controversial. He had Shawn Michaels' potential. And due to injuries and other various reasons, he never reached his full potential. At his age, at this show, he's a better worker than Shawn Michaels at the same age.
Huh. That's a bold statement right there.
It's true, but it's fucking true. Go watch the fucking tapes.
Tapes.
Like there's like you all right, it's 1995. He's 24 years old. He's a better worker than Shawn Michaels was at 24 years old.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean,
he's only 3 years in the business.
but he's better than Shawn Michaels at the same age.
At 3 years in the business, yeah, he's better than Shawn Michaels.
I mean, what were your thoughts on this match? I mean, it lasted 3-3.
I mean, it's important because it's the debut of our good friend,
Yes.
the Blue Meanie. Blue Meanie's in the crowd. He gives Stevie the Flock of Seagulls shirt. We see another power bomb in this match, thanks to just another power bomb match thanks to Stevie. That's always interesting to see. Stevie wins with a super kick in 3 minutes. Again, it's supposed to be a squash match. You know, El Puerto Riqueño is the Extreme Rookie, but it's notable for Meanie doing the Meanie Salt and Missing for the very first time, which would be an ongoing theme throughout ECW and his run in ECW. So, but yeah, Stevie Richards doing Stevie Richards type things, and it's a shame what happened to his career.
Hey, but the Meanie's still wrestling, so he's
He's still going.
still making appearances. He was at Starrcast, and I'm sure he'll be at the next Starrcast in Chicago. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, the next match we had the Pitbulls 1 and 2 with the lovely and very sexy Francine taking on the Eliminators Perry Saturn and John Kronos.
She is very 1995
Yes.
hot. In 1995.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, the Eliminators were with Jason Knight. So
Eliminators, I believe, are fresh in from the USWA, by the way. My good friend Matt Riley trained with Perry Saturn, by the way, and Triple H. Pitbulls recently lost the tag team titles. They were in cahoots with Jason Knight, and then they turned babyface, added Francine. Jason Knight, in turn, brought in the Eliminators. Pretty weird that the Pitbulls get the clean victory here over like the Eliminators, who would be, you know, mainstays in the tag team division for the next couple of years before Perry Saturn goes to WCW. But Pitbulls get the win here, and you have a assault after the match by the Eliminators, who gave total elimination to both Pitbulls, who promptly no-sell it.
yeah,
And then we have Jason, who tried to sexually assault Francine also.
that's never good. But I mean, like I said, I mean, I wasn't a big fan of ECW back then, but when I'm watching this, I mean, some of the ECW events are better than others. I mean,
Pitbull's interesting thing about the Pitbulls is that you would see them on Monday Night Raw getting beat up because they were jobbers on Raw.
wow. See, folks, see, if you didn't listen to the show, you get all this great information. Speaking of great information, and
Pitbull number 2 used to sell drugs.
see, you only get that here. If you want to hear more great content, and you cannot get enough of the
Can't get the nuts.
dulcet tones,
Sometimes you
the
feel like a
dulcet
nut, and sometimes you don't.
tones of my jackass co-host Alex G, the true Long Island IC. How can they find your YouTube channel? How can they follow you on the old Twitter machine? And how can they make you maybe one day make you some money on YouTube?
Be nice. Fucking YouTube. Anyway, you want to follow me on Twitter? It's RW Games Presents. I'm a good follow. I'm not going to make fun of you to your face. I'll just promptly take whatever garbage opinion that you may have, laugh at it, and move on. But I post pretty cool stuff, so make sure you give us a follow. On YouTube, you want to type in Retro Wrestling Game Presents, and we have over 315 videos, so definitely check those out. Those are a lot of fun. We talk a lot about 1980s WWE and NWA. We have a whole show dedicated to 1984 NWA, and we do talk quite a bit of modern wrestling, so whatever complaints that we have about Raw that particular week, and whatever complaints we have about AEW as well, so definitely check that out.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a great listen. I mean, and the next match we had, kind of get back to the show, Rey Mysterio Jr. taking on Psychosis in a Mexican death match.
X-Men Death Match. This is, I think, in terms of match quality, this might be one of the greatest matches in the history of ECW. It's fucking fantastic. Rey Mysterio, Psychosis definitely have, tons and tons of, what's the word I'm looking for? Just they complement each other so well, and this match is fucking off the charts. They really get over Mysterio as the scrappy, babyface, making the big comeback. Psychosis as the Rudo. Like the fact that Rey Mysterio comes out in a ECF&W / AAA poncho, which is always nice. And Psychosis getting into the mood and stopped wearing his cape and wore a leather jacket to the ring instead. But this match is this would put Rey Mysterio and Psychosis on the map for sure in the United States.
It's definitely a good match. I mean, it was, one of the longest matches of the night. I mean, they definitely give them enough time to do their thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a good match. I mean, I'm a big Rey fan.
Rey Psychosis would go to WCW not too long after this, along with Conan, and it kind of these situations, and especially losing Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, and Dean Malenko, it put ECW in a position where they have to make new stars, they have to reload, or they're going to fucking fall apart. And they did a great job for it for a while, but eventually they ran out of bullets. And you end up with Justin Incredible, and I like Justin Incredible as your top star because you don't have guys, and every time you build a guy, they take him. And we're seeing that a lot in the independents. WWE, in the last 3 years, has taken so many big notable names out of the indies, and indies are a little thin, but guys are coming along at a faster rate now because. When you lose guys, you have to bring new guys up, and more guys out there getting opportunities, and maybe we'll get stars that we wouldn't have gotten otherwise if the WWE hadn't signed a Riddle or Keith Lee or Apollo Crews and some of these other guys that were independent stars, independent mainstays for such a long time.
Yeah, definitely the WWE likes to sign everybody. I mean, and they kind of get them, locked down for many years to come. So it's
yeah, I don't know what the current deals are. I think it's 3-year deals they're giving out right now, or 3 1-year deals that roll over automatically that they have options on. But this, WWE contracts. Who's currently sitting out their contracts? So Luke Harper and Sasha Banks currently we're not going to work anymore until you guys release us, and we're just gonna keep you at home. Pull the Neville, as we call it, or the Pac. If you want to be a joke about it.
Next match we had, it was for the ECW World Television Championship, and the
it was for the ECW World Television Championship, the Tag Team Championship, and a shot at the #1 contendership.
That's a lot of fucking stipulations and things for the match, don't you think?
Very convoluted, but the most important thing about this match is witnessing the Sandman dance. Oh, it was fucking glorious. If you watch this show, you should. I want you when Scorpio and Rocco Rock have their dance off, just keep your eyes on the Sandman and his reaction to Rocco Rock's fucking dance moves is fucking priceless. And then the reaction of Rocco Rock to fucking the Sandman, out of nowhere, fucking start dancing is fucking fantastic. And then Woman does the Cabbage Patch there for a second, and then Rocco tries to grab her boob, and then they get beaten up by Too Cold Scorpio and the Sandman.
Yeah, were you a fan of the Public Enemy?
Ooh, I don't know. Fan is such a strong word. I enjoyed the Public Enemy in ECW. I did not enjoy them, although they had some fun matches with the Nasty Boys, which I'm surprised the Nasty Boys never come to ECW because they're tailor-made for ECW. But the Public Enemy was never as good. This is it. This is it. They're finished after this. They go to WCW, have a whack run, have an even worse run in WWF, come back to ECW just to get fucking destroyed by the Dudleys. And this is the end of Public Enemy as we know it. And I would say they were probably the top attraction in ECW from when they came together as a team as they debuted until this moment. So, because they're leaving basically just right after this.
Yeah, it was a shame. It was a good match, but I mean,
Yeah, I mean, Too Cold Scorpio. I like the fact that he changed. It's like, oh, yeah, you can call me Too Gold Scorpio because he has 2 belts. And they did this twice. They did it with Jason too, where the ring announcer would say a weight and be like, "No, I'm slimmer than that. So get it right. So I'm 235."
oh, God. I won't even go into my hatred for Too Cold.
Sandman does he hulks up, like, so he's like out cold after the match, and then Scorpio gives him a beer, then he hulks up from drinking the beer and gets a second wind from drinking, which is awesome. And then Scorpio, like, by accident, like, spills the beer, and then Sandman gets mad for a minute, and then they hug. And then, Sandman will go on, quote unquote, he's the new #1 contender for the ECW World Championship, and he's supposed to have a match with Becky Whipwreck in the show, but we'll see how that goes.
Oh, man. Next match, Axel Rotten, JT Smith.
Yeah, it's Axel Rotten and JT Smith.
And we move on. That was, yeah.
Well, no, I mean, JT Smith, I believe he started in this gimmick that he's a walking, talking botchamania. So that's the gimmick he had. That he's actually a really good worker, but they put him in a position where, like, he would go to the top rope and, like, fall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, like, he just botch moves all the time. Like, he would go out and do a dive, and, like, his feet would hit the ropes and he would fall. So that was the gimmick. Axel Rotten, split from his brother Ian. They had the Taipei death match, and now Axel's kind of floating around until he starts teaming with Devon fairly shortly after this.
Yeah, man. It was, yeah. The next match, we had Bill Alfonso, Todd Gordon, with Beulah McGillicuddy as a special guest referee.
Beulah looking all the way live.
Yeah.
For sure. Bill Alfonso, I think, as this particular character, as the troubleshooting referee from the Philadelphia State Athletic Commission, is his best gimmick. When he went on to manage Taz and Sabu and Van Dam, I liked it, but you have ECW, right? But it's basically a promotion that doesn't enforce your rules. And now your #1 heel is a referee who's trying to enforce the rules. It's fucking brilliant. It's fucking awesome. And he took a fucking hell of a chokeslam from 911. Then you have Todd Gordon, basically I think this might be the only time where he gets physical, although there might be another time where he's involved in a matchup, or at least, gets physical. I know that Bill Alfonso punches him in the face before the show, but so you have a feud between the commissioner, Todd Gordon / owner of ECW, and Bill Alfonso. I like Bill Alfonso. I think he calls it right down the middle, Daddy, for sure.
Yeah, I mean it was an okay match, but next match.
Well, it's 2 non-wrestlers. Yeah. I mean, you're not necessarily expecting a 5-star classic here.
The next match. What are your thoughts on that? Mikey Whipwreck, Steve Austin.
Now, Steve Austin recently debuted in ECW, doing the Steve Stir, right? And then he does everyone's seen the promos. You've seen the one where he ripped on WCW, where he's fake Eric Bischoff. Everyone's seen the Steve Stir, and everyone's seen the quintessential Steve Austin promo. Talking about his time in WCW and how he was fired. So Steve Austin, a lot of people say, "Oh, Steve Austin was in WCW." No, Steve Austin wasn't in WCW. I wasn't in ECW. He had like 2 matches in ECW, so everyone needs to relax with that. He's only in there for a couple weeks. But it definitely reinvigorated Steve Austin, although he would go on from here to become the ringmaster, which but it's very much proto Stone Cold. It's definitely the prototype Stone Cold Steve Austin that we would see in the future. And again, that's why there's a lot of eyeballs on this show, because it's Steve Austin in a world title match for the ECW world title. And, the stories out there is that Paulie wanted to put the belt on him. Steve Austin said, no, I should be chasing the belts. To be honest, Steve should have won the belt here, but Steve knew that he wasn't staying in ECW for very long. he was going on to the WWF. So, but he does the right thing for business. He puts over Mikey in this match. He'll go on to put over the Sandman and a three-way dance the following show. So Steve Austin does business here. This is the last of the long hair Steve Austin that we would ever see, which is sad for me because I'm a big fan of Stunning Steve Austin, and he would go with the crew cut right after this. So, but Mikey looked good. Steve Austin, he's back off the tricep injury. He's a little gassed, a little rusty, but he got a lot of ring rust off in this match, and he will go on to do bigger and brighter things for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the guy that I loved on the show because I met him once, he's a crazy son of a bitch. Sabu taking on Hack Myers. I mean,
now they start off the show. No, I think they go right. They don't start off the show. I think right after the Bubba Ray Broad Street Bully match, they do. Oh, Sabu is back. So they do the lights off, lights on, then with Paulie in the ring, and Sabu is back, right? Now, Sabu was in WCW for a cup of coffee. He wrestled Mr. JL and did a match with Alex Wright on Nitro, and then he quits, / gets fired, or never sells his contract, whatever happened in WCW. But he's back now, and ECW, which stayed for quite a while. For this run, is probably the best run of his career, both from a performance standpoint, in the ring, character development, the whole nine. So I'm happy that Sabu is back. He gets the win over a very game Hack Myers, who's essentially like Coco Beware's spot. He's the lowest guy on the roster that's not a jobber. Do you like Hack Myers? You're a big fan of Hack Myers?
No, I'm a big Sabu fan, but not a big Hack Myers.
Really?
No.
Why do you like Sabu so much?
Just the shit that he does. I mean, I saw him a couple years ago, and I don't know what his age was at the time I saw him, but God, he was doing shit that you shouldn't even do when you're like 15, 16, but he was like mid-50s. I'm like, yeah, he's just a legend. So.
Sabu innovated so much that he should be a millionaire, and it's sad that he's not.
No.
Like the modern style of high flying wrestling, you have the evolution from Sabu to Amazing Red and SATs and Jack Evans until now you have your Ospreys. That all comes from Sabu. He put the table in wrestling lexicon. No one was using tables except for Terry Funk prior to this, and Randy Savage. But he was doing it every match, and the dive, from the ring through the table, off the top rope to the table, that's all an invention of Sabu. And so many people have made money off of that. None of those people being Sabu. And it's a goddamn shame.
I mean, speaking of, things that I thought was a good match, the main event, Terry Funk, Tommy Dreamer, It's
a match of the show.
And Cactus Jack. What say you?
I mean, it's fucking Terry Funk and Tommy Dreamer as a tag team. It's Terry Funk. I remember the promo leading up to the show. Cactus is turned on Tommy. Tommy needs a new partner. And he gets on his old-ass fucking cell phone. He's like, operator, get me the Double Cross Ranch. And then, Terry comes in, and they do the whole shit with the feud between Terry and Cactus, which was the ECW feud, a couple months, maybe even a year before this. And I like Terry Funk calling Mick Foley an asshole. Cactus is doing these promos, the anti-hardcore promos, or the promos, probably the best promos of his career. I would say up to this point and probably after that, although he would have very good interviews in WWF. But if you haven't watched Cactus Jack's ECW interview, just type that in fucking YouTube and watch them. They're fucking all the charts. They're fucking amazing. And he goes off and talk about, if you're a smart fan, you'll get his references, because he's the first person that told me that Johnny B. Bad was not black. Because I had always thought he was black. He mentioned that in his promo. He also mentioned that like how the WWF was a great place to wrestle because they took a guy like Kevin Nash, but he didn't use his name, and made him the world champion. He talked about Triple H. They took a Frenchman from WCW, and they made him a blue blood from Connecticut, and now he's a big star. And like, I wonder, what can they do for me? And this is right before he goes to WWF. Cactus Jack also has one of my favorite T-shirts of all time. He has an airbrushed fucking Dungeon of Doom shirt that has a big heart in it. Which is awesome. And he has like airbrush Dungeon and Doom fucking guys in the front, which is fantastic. It also says, "Forgive me, Uncle Eric" on the back, meaning Eric Bischoff. Because remember, Cactus Jack was fired for spitting on the WCW tag team title on the ECW show because he was still working for WCW at the time. He was on loan and he got in trouble and been fired.
Well, that's not good. But I mean, but overall, I mean, what were your thoughts? I mean, what would you give this pay-per-view? What grade would you give it?
Ooh, if it was 1995, I would give it an 8. But since it's 2019, I would give it a 6.
I give it about a 4.
Well, you don't like ECW. You don't like to have fun.
I don't like to have fun. I'm married.
You don't like Terry Funk.
But I'm a big Cactus Jack fan, big Sabu fan. But you know what you're going to be a big fan of? The show that we're going to be covering next week. You want to know what it is? Drum roll, please. We have WCW presents Spring Stampede in the year 2000.
Why? Oh fuck, WCW 2000.
Yep.
Why are you doing this to people?
Because we don't discriminate. We cover everything between 1976 and 2000. If it's crappy, you'll hear about it. I mean,
I swear to God, if you make me do an XPW show, I'm gonna fucking punch you right in the face.
And then the week after that, we're gonna be doing XPW.
Like you could have picked a good Spring Stampede show like '94. Nah. You got to pick 2000. What's the main event in 2000?
I don't know. I just picked it randomly. I knew that would piss. I knew it would piss you the fuck off.
I hate when you do that stupid shit. Main event of this show is Jeff Jarrett versus Diamond Dallas Page. We also have such great matches on this fucking show as Scott Steiner taking on The Wall. Mike Awesome defeated Eric Miller. Oh, I don't want to spoil it now. Mike Awesome and Ernest Miller. Terry Funk and Norman Smiley. And Chris Candido versus The Artist, formerly known as Prince Ikea.
All I have to say is, you're welcome. Thank you.
These Sting wrestled like 9 times. Is this a tournament? Yes, yeah, this is the U.S. title tournament.
It's a tournament for the belt, so yeah. But, hey, folks, you have that to look forward to. I mean, ECW, SummerSlam, and Spring Stampede 2000. God, it is a great... It's a great month to be part of the Retro Wrestling Rewind, isn't it, buddy? Oh, man. But for the great Alex G, as always, I should never be a booker because I would fucking suck because I pick shitty shows, according to Alex G. I'm David Fine. We will see you back here next week where we travel back 19 years in the past to Spring Stampede 2000. Yeah, that's right, folks. We are covering the great Spring Stampede 2000. As always, like I always say, we'll talk to you in the past.
238 pounds in the black corner from St. Louis, Missouri.
Andre the Giant.
Gonna get his legs in on the bruiser.
Number 1, the greatest WWE champion of all time, and in many ways, the man who made the title what it is today, Bruno Sammartino.
His opponent weighing 236 pounds in the white corner from Van Nuys, California.